I'm John Adelsteinsson, VP Business Development at Men&Mice, and we are here to talk about IP address management in a Microsoft Active Directory environment. And with me I have my colleague Martin Metz, who is a Senior Technical Consultant at Men&Mice.
Hello.
So Martin, perhaps the first question that people like administrators in an AD environment are asking, what is IPAM? IP address management? What do you understand under that term?
Yeah, IP address management is, you use one tool to manage all your IP data. So that is basically your static IP addresses, which are usually live in Excel sheets, and your DHCP data, which is the dynamic IP data, and also your DNS. That is basically IPAM. And you have one tool to manage all that data. So you have one view at the whole network, basically.
Okay, so today, if I don't have a tool like that, I would have a separate interface for the DNS, for the DHCP, and then also a database for the IP addresses.
Yes, right. You have a tool for the DNS, so you have to log into your servers with that tool, and you add an address, for example, in a zone, and then you have to go through your sheets and Excel sheets and add the data there, for example, to have an audit trail. So to speak, who has changed this? You know that manually in many steps, so it's very cumbersome to have that data up to date.
Okay. So IP address management is a kind of a management tool that has a single view and synchronizes between DNS, DHCP, and this IPAM database.
Yes, right.
And so the whole system is always in sync, and there's only one point of entry.
That is very important. You work with the current data, not with artificial data somewhere in your notepads or so. You have really the current data live from the network, and you work with that data. That is important. And you have, of course, all that static data, which is a client is statically configured, and you have that data in one view with all the dynamic data. So it's really like that. You log into your management console and you see all your DNS zones, DHCP servers, your DHCP servers, and also the static addresses.
Okay.
And actually we are providing also AD sites and subnets integration, so you can also manage this without to.
Okay. But when we for instance, if we take DNS for example, can you tell me, I've heard that there are many problems associated or have the root cause in DNS. What is your experience? What kind of problems are there out there? What are just normal administrators experiencing in terms of DNS problems?
Yeah, you have to give administrators the rights to access the machine. And when they're working at the machine, all the guys who are working in the zone are administrators on this machine. And of course, when you do a change to a zone, you can do a mistake, and you can do the mistake on other zones which you are not responsible for. And that's the main problem. And without tool, you can give access rights to a certain zone. So the person has only access to exactly this zone, and it can also use only IP addresses out of a range which the person has access to.
Yeah, I've heard stories, is it true that in many companies you can have a normal administrator somewhere who has still the power or access rights to take down the whole
yes, that's
domain system inside a company?
Yes, that's true. Because when you work at the machine, you are an administrator, and of course you can shut down the machine.
But that must be a huge
kill the zone
security vulnerability.
Yes, and mistakes happen. That's a problem.
So is this an area of security perhaps that is overlooked in general network management?
Yes. Of course, you have trust in the people, but you can do mistakes. And actually, it's not only about mistakes. Of course, it's better to give the opportunity to the people to change the zone, which are responsible for the zone, only for that part of the zone in DNS. So
for example, you can then give DNS access to the help desk for a person who is not an expert in DNS.
Yeah, right. And
but how can you prevent that these people will not screw up the system?
Yes, we have a special web interface for this, for example, and we can narrow down the actions which are possible on the zone level in a way that the person cannot make a mistake. So, for example, when you want to give the person the rights to add an A record, you can have it that way that the person only types in the name of the new host and the IP address is added automatically. So there's not a real chance to mess up the zone.
Okay. And what about DHCP? DHCP? I understand, people who are managing like split scope DHCP configurations, they get into problems. Well, how can you provide benefits there?
Yeah. And in our management tool, it's that way. When you open up split scope, you see both scopes, and when you, for example, when you create a reservation in the scope, it's synced automatically between the scopes. So you don't have to open up the first scope at the reservation, go to the second scope at the reservation, and so it prevents doing a mistake.
Okay.
And of course, we are looking also for the correctness of the split. So when there's an overlap in the split configuration, there's also a warning, and you get a warning, and you can do really a fix on the split scope, and automatically it will be adjusted.
So automatical error correction is provided.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that can help. And what about also companies hear a lot today about corporate governance and compliancy, that they need to know, have documented evidence about who's been changing their infrastructure. How do you solve that one?
Yeah, of course, we are preventing that the user or the administrators are all logging into the machines and doing the changes directly on the machine. They use only our management console, and we have an audit trail. So when the user logs into the environment, everything is logged, so you can see what has the user changed and the time also.
Okay. And if you tell me about like monitoring and reporting, that's also, I think, an area where very little information is available. What's going on in the infrastructure? Are we having many queries per second? Is the service level high? Is it low? Is there a lot of errors in the system? How can you help there?
Yeah, we have certain reports. For example, utilization reports for DHCP, so you can see how the scope is utilized. And also we have a monitoring environment where you can have a look at your DNS health. So you can see the amount of queries going on the network, and you can also get some alerting functionality. For example, when there's a DNS attack going on, for example, and you have a lot of traffic going on, you can define thresholds there, and you get an alert. So we want that there's some abnormal thing going on.
Okay.
Also server fails. When you log in, you have a dashboard, you open up and you see at the first glimpse, okay, there's server fail or a lot of server fails going on. So you know, okay, can click at it and you can dig really down to the detail. Who was asking for this address? And you get the detailed information. And it's scalable, so you can have data, let's say, for half a year, which is really detailed up to the queries. But that's, of course, you can define this.
Okay. So these solutions you describe, they cover the management, the scalability, the security, the governance, compliancy, and also the monitoring and reporting. It seems to be quite a big system. What can you tell us? Is this only for the big customers or also for the smaller customers?
No. It's for the small customers up to the really large companies. And actually, it's a really lightweight system. It's only a shell over all the existing environment. So we don't try to replace all systems. We install really a small lightweight system. So it's really easy to install. And actually, Yeah, the best way to just try it. It's easy.
Let's assume I'm an administrator. I have 5,000 clients in my network, and I have 20 DNS servers, 10 DHCP servers running in Active Directory. What would be the process for me? I say, yeah, I would like to deploy this stuff. How would I go about? Are we talking about weeks or months of deployment, or?
No. For really large companies, we do it in 3 days, and that's mainly because 3 days because we have to find out that static IP data in the Excel sheets and import it into our database. That's the main work, and the installation of the system is really lightweight. It's let's say 1 hour, 2 hours, and it's done basically. Because you can install that system. It's only the installation of agents on the DNS servers, and then an AD integrated environment, only 2 DNS servers, for example, and then the management environment, which is a 3rd server, and then you have a management GUI, and that's all.
Okay, well, that sounds quite simple. So thank you very much, Martin.
You're welcome.
If you would like further information about IP address management solutions for Active Directory, go to men&mice.com. Thank you.